We're going live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to day 4 of the Business Exchange Southwest Charity Conference and Expo in partnership with Milstead Langdon Accountants and Stone King Law. I'm really excited to have with us this evening Robin Worrall from Rednine Design and Laura Phillips from local charity We Get It. Now, interestingly, I met Laura for the first time on my doorstep for the charity conference that we held at Bath Racecourse last year. That was on the 6th of February. And at that point, it was, what's COVID? It's not going, it's just a Chinese flu. It's not going to come to the UK. And we had over, it was 480 odd people at Bath Racecourse last year in person. And we had these beautiful stands all laid out. And Laura has the most amazing brand that's been created. The girls look super stylish on their stand with black blazers on and their We Get It t-shirts underneath. They really are cool. So tonight we're going to talk to Laura about her journey really to coming up with the idea for the charity and how she's been working with Robin since the start to create the brand. And yeah, we're going to tell you the story. So Laura, tell me, why did you come to set up We Get It? What's the story?
Okay, the story. Yeah, the story starts actually back in April 2016. It seems like a very long time ago, actually, but I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is a blood cancer, and just really feeling unwell. My heart rate was 120 beats per minute. I had tumors in my neck, spleen, stomach, pelvis, and aorta, and I had a collapsed lung. So I kind of like rolled into A&E, and it was kind of, you've got cancer, you need chemo in 5 days, otherwise it's not looking great. And then they kind of turned around and said, you're going to lose your hair and you won't be able to have children. And actually that was probably the biggest blow for me, but it was quite a lot to take on board, but all of it together was quite a lot. And I was just desperate to kind of, what can I do to live? What can I do to live? And I kind of was like, well, what can I do? What can I eat? What can I exercise? And I was struggling really. All I had was one pamphlet, which was an amazing charity called We Hear You, which is cancer counselling, which I used straight away. But I was looking to just find like-minded people that wanted to go to the pub actually and have a drink, or just to go and do some yoga, or talk about hair, or like the funny taste in your mouth. And I just was struggling to meet anyone the same age as me actually. Because everyone in the chemo ward was about kind of 70, 80, and they just wanted to get the chemo. And I was up for a bit of a chat, really, but no one really wanted to chat to me. So that's when I was kind of thought, you know what? I'm just going to start my own support group, and I'm going to make it for women, but I'm going to make it for anyone affected by cancer, because there's only 2 support groups there at the time. One was for breast cancer, and one was gynae, and I'm blood. So I thought, you know what? We're going to make it for any cancers. Everyone's welcome, and we're going to focus on movement, nutrition, and kind of like well-being. And that was the original story. And then I thought, you know what, I need to help more people. Actually, that's what was my mindset. I need to help more people. How can I do this? So I went to an evening that Good for Nothing, which is a kind of setup in Bath where people go along to, they pitch their idea and then they give back for free for good. And I stood there and thought, you know what, I've got 10 other entrepreneurs here. I just need to be honest and just say what I need. 1 in 2 people affected by cancer. I really need some help. I want to try and help as many people as possible. Please, can you help me? And then that's where I met Robin. And that's where it all started.
Cue Robin.
That's where the story started.
So I'm going to hand over to Robin on that.
So just to explain, I was here last night actually. I seem to be sort of resident chatter on this absolutely amazing conference and expo that Anita is phenomenal work what she's put together this week, I think, considering it's all virtual. So I'm Rednine, I'm a design and brand consultant, and I met Laura at an event. I'm going to skip past that one, which basically She stood up on stage, she came and did her pitch. So just to kind of draw the picture, there's it was called Good for Nothing. As an audience member, if you were a creative or you felt that you had a skill that could support a new startup, then you were invited to come along, sit in the audience. And I think from memory, there was about 40, 50 people sat there, and there were about 12 initiatives that were invited to go up on stage with a mic. They had 3 minutes, a little bit like Dragon's Den, had 3 minutes to pitch their idea, and then the audience were invited then to connect or network with them to say what they could do. Laura, this is the sad part of the story, Laura hit an absolute emotional nerve with me because that week I had just learned that an incredibly good friend of mine had been diagnosed with breast cancer, and she lives up in Buxton and I'm miles away, and I just felt so dreadful that I couldn't do anything physical to help her. She was so far away, so anything more than phone calls and kind of connecting with her and sending her flowers and gift boxes and whatever. So as soon as Laura mentioned the word cancer, I think it just hit me in the stomach. And from memory, she had this incredible pair of mustard, cue the heels, Laura, mustard killer heels on. There they are. 4 years later, 3 years later, still with the heels intact, so they clearly are doing well. Good purchase. Put the mic down, and I think it hadn't even dropped to the floor. I was straight over, put my hand out, and gave her a hug, and just said, "I'm helping you no matter what." And I think that looking at the bigger picture is why our creative journey has been so strong and so successful, because I then had the opportunity to listen to Laura. Her story was so heartfelt. Laura speaks, and I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but just beautifully. She speaks from the heart, and she speaks so eloquently, and she speaks with an authentic voice that you can't help but listen, and you can't help but want to kind of do all that you can. So that's where I stepped in and said, okay, we need to kind of do what we can together and make this work, make your dream a reality. And that's where we set up.
Can I just say, on that night as well, like, Robin was the first person to come over and give me my card, and he has stuck by me ever since that day back in, I think it might have been 2017. And I'm just incredibly grateful. I'm incredibly grateful to Robin though, but Robin has given so much passion and energy and time into We Get It to make it was today. And it wouldn't be possible actually without Robin. What we've created is part of Robin, is part of me, is part of everyone, but actually he listened to me. He understood me. He was feeling my emotions. He wanted to understand everything I was going through. And that's why the brand is so powerful, is because Robin could feel it. Robin could understand, and he was listening to everything I said. I think the conversation, we used to actually meet in Boston Tea Party, and sometimes we just have a chat. Actually, to be honest, sometimes we wouldn't talk about cancer. We just talk about loads of other stuff. And then I think the conversation.
You get 2 parking tickets as well, because
we did.
We came around so many times with coffee and cake. It actually cost you a fortune.
Yeah. I to be honest, it still happens to this day. But I think the conversation that Robin and I had, and that was when the name was created, was I was trying to explain to Robin that when you're diagnosed with cancer, sometimes you don't want to tell your partner, your mum and dad, your friends and family how you're really feeling. So when someone says to you, "How are you?" you have 2 options. You go, yeah, I'm fine. Or you tell him everything, like, "I'm feeling rough, I don't feel great, I want to cry, I'm not in a good time." And I'd always go, "Yeah, I'm fine," because I thought, if I tell you how I'm really feeling, I'm going to absolutely break your heart. And I said to Robin, I just want to meet people that understand and get it. I want to speak to someone that goes, "Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get that your head's itchy, or I get it that you can't taste alcohol anymore, you can't have a curry." Do you know what I mean? Those are really important to me. So it's like, I couldn't, and I just said to him, I just want to meet someone, that gets it. And that's where we kind of created the name. And he said, "Do you know what? You should call it We Get It." And that's,
I always remember that day, because you would write, this is what Laura was calling herself before, Eat, Move, Glow. And yeah, it was kind of workable. It was okay. I think you were you kind of inherited it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So it was eat, nutrition, move, exercise, and glow, kind of styling or kind of well-being. But it was the cancer toolbox for women. And I kind of got that, but then I was thinking, but it's 1 in 2 now, which isn't, you know, just women. It's every age group. I mean, it's just a brutal kind of thing, cancer. It just doesn't, it takes, you know, it goes for everybody and nobody's escaped it. So I was kind of saying, well, if you want to be this kind of cancer charity or this sort of support community, surely we've got to balance men and women, and even more so men, I feel, because they naturally do kind of hold their feelings internally, or they find it difficult to talk in bigger groups. So they'll maybe share with a very close friend, but they don't share potentially with their partner as readily as they could. So we kind of were talking around the why. And Laura, as she just said there, kind of said, you know, I just want people to get it. I want people to kind of understand that it can be this way or that way. And I wrote it down on a piece of paper, we get it, and just slid it across the table and went, right, okay, I'm 3 coffees in. I need to go to the little boys' room, but that's what you're going to call yourself. And I still remember your face going, no, that's just 3 words I've just said. That doesn't make any, you can't call it
I
that.
was confused.
Where's my big kind of like brand? Where's the big kind of like hooky name that people are going to go for? And I went, promise you that those 3 words have come from you. That means that they are totally, I don't, as a creative, create anything new. I discover and define what already lives in the client, and Laura being the client, more creative coffee relationships, whatever. Client doesn't sound like the right word, that's too official. So it's kind of, you know, they're her words, and therefore they're her passion, and they're her drive, and they're her why. So went to the little boys' room, came back, and she kind of went, kind of getting it. And then we have to pay honour actually to James Shaw from Body Design, who's an incredibly talented designer, and he came up with the logo, and it was absolutely bang on. We didn't have to go through numerous kind of options or iterations. We wanted something that was bold, that was sassy, which kind of a little bit of a rally call. And as he said it, it was kind of like that sort of punch stamp. If you dinked up the sort of corner of your fist and sort of punched it down to the table, it had that sort of feel. So it was very earthy, very kind of like sort of humanly created. And I remember we showed it to the kind of the steering group that we had at the time, and immediately everybody kind of got it, and everybody kind of came on board with it. And that then allowed us to kind of build the bigger story around it, which for me, this is now the brand. That is a logo. And I think people get confused thinking, no, that's my brand. It's not. That's just a logo. And then the bigger story, the bit that lives in everybody else's mind, is the brand that you create and you give birth to. But it's how they mentally process it and hold it and relate to it and remember it. And I went on last night about my relate, remember, retell kind of scenario, where you have to relate to the audience, they have to remember you, and they then have to take that story out to their friends and family and support groups and whoever. So Laura then, and with the team, because then we started gathering quite an infantry of kind of volunteers, and nobody's been paid. I think it's fair to say it at this stage. Everybody's come with a passion and a drive and enthusiasm to make it work. And hey, it takes a village to raise a baby. Is that the right way?
Amazingly,
right. Is it build a barn? Or...
Amazingly, Laura's background isn't anything to do with business at all. Laura is a teacher that had an idea, and going through this process, I bet it was a completely exciting but new learning curve for you as well.
Oh, that's a really good question, actually, Nita. Yeah, yes, it was. I think trying to understand, because for me, I'm a visual learner. So when Robin said the words, I was like, okay. And I needed to see the visuals, because he was pushing me. You know, I wanted this, but Robin was trying to make it bigger and better. And I needed to trust in Robin as well, actually, because, you know, I was very much set on just trying to help women. But actually, what he said was correct, actually, 1 and 2. So it's any cancer, any gender, any stage, actually, now. So, and I'm really glad that we stretched it open and we really pushed our boundaries. And because we just didn't want to be in a village hall eating a custard cream. We wanted to be disruptors. We wanted to be sassy. We wanted to be bold. We wanted to be in your face. And that's exactly what we are. And I think going back to actually the logo at the original start, which James did, is to do with a thumbprint as well, and that we've all got different journeys when you're affected by cancer, but you're all part of the same one. So the logo has so much detail in it that's so in depth that we discussed. So it just brought it all together. And as you can see, the brand for me, it just stands out. We didn't want to be like other cancer charities, and we're still not to this day. We will talk about things other people don't want to talk about. We'll talk about it, whether it's cancer and sex, whether it's death, whether it's just living well or just having fun. We want to be those people that have those conversations. And I think the brand in general, like you were saying, Anita, even our tops represent that, which is great. But yeah, going back to teaching skills, I think they cross over slightly because I'm a bit of an organizer. So they cross over, but I've learned a lot, just put it that way.
And you were going through treatment when you started this process?
Yeah, so I had just finished, so I had chemo and then I just had a splenectomy because I had a bit of cancer left in my spleen. And so I had my hair hadn't fully grown back really. And I actually, when I look back, I was pretty tired actually. So, but I was just on a mission because I just thought if I'm going to live, my mission is to help other people and make sure they're not lonely like I was. And this is my mission to this day. I don't want anyone to feel like I did, that I couldn't meet other people and be on their own going through cancer or just being diagnosed or living with cancer. I didn't want anyone else to feel lonely. And I'm just still determined today to make sure that no one else feels like that and that we help everyone and we help each other, because we can help each other. It's not just me. I actually sometimes step back. It's my cancer community that start helping each other and saying, actually, have you tried this? Have you thought about that? And that's what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is to say, sorry.
Go on.
Well, I was just going to say, because I think knowing what your why is, knowing that you wanted for nobody else to feel lonely or alone once the NHS has sort of finished their course of treatment and you've gone through, and it's a long period of time. It's 12 to 18 months plus, and there's several stages. And I always remember you saying, Laura, and you guided me on my friend and also my cousin who's being diagnosed, that it's that point where the NHS and all the treatment and all the nursing staff kind of stop, that then you're at your most vulnerable. And sadly, that's where all your friends kind of see you back to normal as well and think, well, you're clear now. That's it. You're good. You're done. Well done. We got through it. You're here. You're still here. Your hair's growing back. Your life's come back. You're going back to work. It's that point that's the hardest point. And I think that's where we pick up the most as well, because it's not just people that have been diagnosed. It's also their families and their support. And, sadly, there's really tragic stories where we've lost members of our community, but we then look after the partner or the friend or the whoever that is left behind, and support them through the process. And what I was going to say is, sorry, a slight tangent, but what I was going to say is that it kind of, knowing your why has tailored how you've put your course of events together. And some of them are pretty bold hitting. I mean, I know you've covered death and sex, and I'm sure there's more to come.
There is, there's more to come.
Yeah, it's not the softly little sort of, we can make you a nice Victoria sponge, come round, have a cup of tea and a hug and off you trot. It's those questions that, well, you talk to your community, don't you? And it was them that said, we don't know how to deal with death. We don't know how does sex fit into your relationship when you're going through treatment and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and we do listen to our community. Like I know a large number of our community used to say when they used to talk to their, whether it might be the consultant GP, about intimacy, about relationships, about sex, sometimes they'd struggle to have kind of enough information on that area, or even just nutrition or exercise. And we really try and understand, but especially with COVID, I think we also try to cater to make sure as well that we were training ourselves up actually on death, but also talking about death within the community as well. Yeah.
The thing is the tricky one, because the practitioners, they will give you advice, but if they've not been through it, which a lot of them wouldn't have been themselves, they can give advice, but it's not coming from that same place. And you really do need to share your experiences of how you're feeling with people that aren't necessarily emotionally attached to you as well, because it makes it so much harder when you're having those conversations with people that you're close to.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Anita. And I think just first of all, we will always continue, and we're always grateful for the NHS and everything, all the support that they've given all our cancer community and myself. But you're completely right. That's why we've kind of evolved, actually. We've listened to the community again, and we started a new friends and family hangout. So our get-togethers are primarily for people with living with cancer, just been diagnosed, or living beyond cancer. But our friends and family hangout is for the people that are looking after the people affected by cancer, because we knew that they needed a voice and they were struggling, and we got told that by our community, and they were like, we need a space. So that's where that started. And actually for us, we've listened to our community again, because we've got quite a lot of people affected by cancer and in stage 4, and we're going to start a kind of stage 4 group actually as well for those people affected by cancer. So we're constantly trying to evolve and change. But I think our attitude is, do you know what? We're going to give it a go. If it works, great. If it doesn't, don't worry about it. At least we've given it a go. And so we're very comfortable with that mindset.
And so from creating the brand and knowing what your values were, how did you then implement it? So you knew that you didn't want to be in a coffee shop environment. You knew that you wanted it to be cool places, that you wanted to hang out, not in the village hall or traditional places where you might host a mother's meeting. You wanted something that was fun. So did you just go out and try and find venues and different spaces that fitted with your brand ideals?
Yeah, this, Anita, like, for us, remember, we're all volunteers, so we've all given up our time for free. So it took a year. It took a year with a volunteering group. Plus, I must thank Good for Nothing and the team there, including Robin, some of my volunteers. But we spent a year designing this brand, and then when we launched it with actually just one focus, and that was our get together. And that was it started actually at Boston Tea Party, but then it moved to Walcott House. But it did take and we were happy, because we just used to say, if one person turns up to our event, to our get together, then we've helped one person. And that's what we did. And actually it started off with one person, but it takes a lot of time. And I've got to thank my volunteers. I've got 10 volunteers that give up their time for free, and they still do. I've still got those 10 volunteers to this day. And now we started back. We launched in September 2018, and I've still got the same volunteers now who were passionate and willing and giving so much to this brand. So
brilliant, because it must be hard for those people that you've encouraged to come along for the first time, because they're not quite sure what to expect, and you're not feeling your most confident anyway for meeting new people. So it's trying to create that environment, isn't it? So having regular volunteers and regular friendly faces is so important.
Yeah, and also get it. They've got to get it. They've got to believe in the brand. They've got to understand and also not sell it, but they've got to make sure people know what they're coming to. So yeah, absolutely. We've got an outstanding get-together lead called Sue Drudge. She volunteers she works for Penny Brom, actually. She's just volunteering for Dorothy House. And she's just got so much knowledge and understanding. And I'm just super grateful for her, because the community absolutely love her. She's a trained nutritionist as well. So she's just amazing. And yeah, she's the one that's been consistent. Like, we have run get-togethers online throughout COVID every Friday. So every Friday throughout COVID, we've not missed one Zoom get-together on Friday. So we've maintained our community online for a year and a half. So that's why we're so excited.
Amazing. Yeah. So before COVID hit, you had 2 separate groups. Did you have a Wednesday meetup and a Friday meetup?
No, oh yes, you are right. Yeah, so we had a pub night. So yeah, we had a pub night because we realised that the get together was in the day, and we thought we actually wanted to help more men affected by cancer actually. So we thought, why don't we tailor it in a pub? And we wanted it to be in Twerton to look at different areas of Bath. And so, yeah, we used to have a pub night once a week and a get together. And yeah, so then that all went online during COVID. So yeah, we and actually Bob Crampton is our patron, and he used to
Bertie.
Yeah, and Bertie the dog, and he used to run pub quizzes actually. And Bob's lush. We love Bob. Yeah,
you've got some good pictures of Bob and Bertie, that's for sure. I'm sure they've got some real fans. Yeah. And having a dog as part of it, a nice therapy dog, is what we all need as well.
Absolutely.
So how many people and volunteers have you got as part of the team now?
So we've got 10 volunteers. We've got Robin, who's our creative director. We've got Lizzie Heffer, who's our business manager. We've got Sarah Baker, who's our social media and events director. We've got Joe, who's our bursar. Dee, who does data. Leslie and Rob, who raise awareness. Sue, who's our get-together lead, and Lara, who does copywriting. So we've got 10, and they've all got different roles, and you can check that out on the website. But again, they've all got full-time jobs. So you'll find us busy in the evening, emailing, or mornings, or sometimes throughout the day. So they're all got full-time jobs, plus they volunteer for We Get It. So, and it's, for me, actually, it's because I'm trying to teach, and I'm kind of managing our We Get It team as well. It's trying to find that kind of balance as well for myself.
Yeah, I bet it's tough juggling everything. So how many people have you engaged with since you started?
Oh, that's a really good question, actually. We've got 200 on our mailing list, and at our online. So we used to do panel events with people like Val Babe and Emma and her husband, and we've also had Steve Blandown. That's the husband of Rachel Bland, who died. She was the BBC radio presenter. So we used to get about 40 in Walcott House for our panel events, and Lizzie Heffer used to be the host. You know, we'd put on nice drinks and food, and then we'd have a live audience. But actually, it's really interesting, Anita, because when we went online during COVID, we used to get up to about 150. So it's amazing how, you know, we were ready to bounce. You know, as soon as we hit COVID, we all met. We were like, action plan, what are we going to do? And we just put loads of things in place. And actually, that's been a real kind of plus for us, actually. We've really kind of, we've learned some really amazing things, actually. But we've got more numbers online than we did at actual real life events. So, yeah.
That's amazing. And I think through lockdown, everybody, especially people going through cancer at the same time as well, shielding, feeling more vulnerable and alone with the situation, that I bet it must have been a real lifeline, having those sessions where you could just see other people and have a natter.
Yeah, it did, actually. And our group did change, because we like Robin said, we did have a few of our members die, which was extremely sad and did impact us all, actually. But actually, we then met some new people, which is also very nice, across the UK, in America, and across Europe. So that was also quite of a new thing for us. Like, we still have regulars now from Essex, down in Bognor Regis, actually, Forest of Dean. So, and they're even tempted, they've been saying to us as well, they'd like to come to the real life get together as well. So that's been a real positive for us. Yeah.
So how has that changed those connections, and how the charity has evolved from the beginning? How has that kind of changed the brand ideals? Have you switched up and changed things over time, Robin?
In fact, we just had a conversation last week, because I guess everybody's felt this through the initial kind of year of lockdown. You kind of worked with all that you had and kind of exhausted that to as far as you possibly could without breaking or kind of like weakening anything. But I mean, for me, naturally, I always kind of get a sense that we need to up the ante now. We need to just refresh or just realign some of our stories, or how we say what we say, or how we present ourselves. One, just to kind of challenge the continuity of it. Two, to make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more sort of inspiring. And also the stories are changing now, as you say, you know, people from different locations. We're not that we kind of dropped the Bath-based element of it now. It's still a local community, but we've never restricted it. You don't have to live in Bath in order to have to request support or join a group or anything like that. That's only the physicality of where we can host the events. But I know, and I'm sure Laura will say a little bit later on, but her grand plan is to have a facility like a Maggie's, where you can go and attend, and then they can host their own events and have a place where people can just drop in whenever they need it, because it's more that sort of story, isn't it? It's, you know, you don't decide when you're having a really low moment, or when you're having a really high moment, or when you kind of need that connection. I know with sort of friends and family that have had cancer, it kind of it changes by the hour, it changes by the day. So you kind of have to feel comfortable when you want to kind of approach it. So yeah, I mean, long story short, we are looking, refreshing, not the logo, but the environment that we have built around it. And I think that's, you know, that's the brand. That's where the brand can just change its clothes a little bit and just shout a bit more in certain areas as well. I think we naturally have been a little bit reserved. I think that the concern with cancer is always how much should you say and how hard hitting should you be, and that the cancer campaign that was it Macmillan? I think it was Macmillan that did, where they took that old advert, and it really punched me in the stomach. They took their old advert and they just paused it and they just said, you know, it hasn't stopped. What we were doing hasn't stopped. Yeah. And they allowed the advert to kind of carry on. And it was just so strong to kind of get that message over so easily. And I think that's the sort of space that we're in. We know that we can shout a little bit louder now. We can punch a little bit harder, not in an aggressive way. You can do it with kind of gentle, you know, you can have a gentle strength as well. We'll never be in your face, but we will certainly put things in front of you.
Yeah.
What you're telling me really is that this is really unique. There aren't other groups like this, and the way you're approaching things throughout the UK and perhaps in other parts of the world as well, that you have obviously really touched people that are going through this and don't feel there is anything else out there, so they found you somehow, and that's amazing. And there's obviously so much scope to grow that you really have got to see how you can go to the next stage now, haven't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's like cancer research is kind of, I mean, this is my take on it, so I'm willing to be challenged, but cancer research is born from sort of science. And that's where they, you know, we are trying to get rid of cancer. That's not what we're doing. So we don't fit in that space. Macmillan is born from care and support and nursing. So we're not that space. We are born from people that have had first-hand experience, either themselves or a partner or a family friend. Therefore, they can say, I know it'll be different for you, but I really, there we go. I get it. I get what you're saying. I can hear what you're saying, and I will listen to you. And I think that's where we're at. And I don't know if, and that's the great thing. And this is born from Laura. And I always say with any brand, it's unique to her, but it's a bigger entity. It was born from her initial idea. And from there, it's just stratospheric now. It's got no limits on where it can go. That's purely down to Laura's PE schedule.
I will actually push back again and say this wouldn't be possible without Robin.
Oh, shush now, enough of all of that. But no, in the audience, I'm sure there's now dropped to about 3. This isn't.
But also our team, I do have to give respect and praise and thanks to our team as well, the volunteers that help us support us. But I think just going back actually to your original point actually is that COVID has really impacted our cancer community, and it's delayed treatments, it's delayed diagnosis, and it's still delaying treatment, it's still delaying diagnosis. And that's what's worrying us. And we could see that a long time ago. So that's why we need to up and make sure we've got more things in place. We're putting more things to help people, because we know there's going to be more people affected by cancer, and they're going to be needing us and wanting to come to us, and we're going to be there for them. And that's what we want. So I think we put on a campaign actually called COVID is Killer, Cancer is Too, during COVID, because we knew, and it was called Get It Checked, #GetItChecked, because we were like, get it checked. If you've got something, if you've got a lump in your boob or something doesn't feel right, get it checked. If your leg's hurting, get it checked. If you've got a kind of pain in your head, get it checked. And I think we are constantly mindful and kind of aware of kind of our cancer community, and we're listening to them all the time. So we're here because I know that more people are going to be affected by cancer. It's 1 in 2, but we know treatment diagnosis is impacted by COVID. So
we need everyone. And then those videos were really powerful as well. Mm-hmm. There was some really, who shot those videos?
We had actually Bob Crampton's friend from ITV. I forgot the name, so please apologies there. Shot that, and we had some celebrities as well kind of come along and kind of get part of our Get It Checked. And it was, for us, we kind of did a bit of a change there, but we just wanted to be kind of bold with that, because we know we're just really passionate, like, get it checked, because early diagnosis can save lives. So that's really important for us. But I've got to emphasize as well, we're not medical. So like Robin was saying about cancer research and about Macmillan, we are here any stage, any gender, any age, and we don't give medical treatment. We do a lot of signposting. We put on a lot of events and workshops to help people dealing with cancer together.
And you can check out those videos and things on your social feeds, can't you? Because they were actually very different in tone. They were slightly moodier, weren't they, to your usual brand? To actually be impactful, and get people to actually go, geez, things might be. I've got 6 non-cancerous nodules on my throat, and I had them checked only a few months ago. But I watched your campaign as well, and it does make you think. Any one of us, we shouldn't ignore things. No. And if you really think that there's something going on and it doesn't feel normal, go and get to a GP as soon as you can.
Yeah, and we've got a whole page actually called on our website actually called Get It Checked. So yeah, you can check out those videos and all those kind of feeds and all the information we put actually online there. Actually, I think just going back to the brand actually and the charity, because we are a charity now. We became a charity. We became lots of things, but we became a charity during lockdown actually. So that's impressive. In June,
no mean feat.
And that was, if anyone's thinking of kind of starting a charity, that was a big hefty bit of paperwork. But again, one of our volunteers kind of just plugged away at it constantly. So thank you to Joe for that. But that was, but putting all these things in place, like the brand, the website, the social media, the events, the workshops, that helped us get charity status actually. But I think the pressure we don't have compared to other charities is that no one gets paid. Plus, we don't put emphasis on fundraising and trying to get money every week or month or so. We put all our events and workshops for free, or there might be a very small charge. So we don't want that pressure of fundraising on top of our head almost. So that's why I think it works for us at the moment. It might change in the future, but at the moment it does work for us.
So for plans in the future, go on, Robin.
Your fundraising, what was your percentage rise from last year to this year, Laura, for 100k in May? Yeah,
so in lockdown, eight of my friends and I decided to do 100k in May because I was shielding, and I just had so I couldn't leave the house, and so I had a runner in my conservatory. So they were like, "Oh, do you know what? We'll join you, and we'll try and help you. And we'll raise money if we get it." I was like, "Oh, thanks, guys." And we raised £2,000. And I was like chuffed a bit. So I was like, "Oh, thanks." And that money actually went back to the community, and we got you bags for our shielding community. We dropped off like little candles and books and bits and pieces and chocolate in a little bag to all our shielding cancer community in Bath. So that everything we do, we try and give back. And then so the following year, I think we might have been in lockdown again, but we decided to relaunch it again, but this time make it even bigger. So and no pressure on us. There was no pressure. I just said, do you know what? It'd be nice if we had 8. It'd be great if we got 16. We just doubled our numbers. Well, we got 49 people sign up, and which again blew my mind because it was, it was our first official fundraiser, and we raised £20,000, which for us as a very small charity was amazing. So Robin, was this right? Is this £1,000?
My maths is correct, yeah.
1,000%.
If anybody, if I got it wrong, please put it in the chat. I was good in art. I wasn't brilliant in math.
But it wasn't necessarily about the money. It was actually about the people that joined us, and we met loads of new people. But actually, they were really grateful for doing something good, actually, and during lockdown, just to keep them moving. So actually, there was lots of good things that came out of that. And just so thanks for everyone that joined us on the 100k May, and join us next year if you're interested.
And did that help in terms of awareness? Did you get new members because of it as well?
Yeah, we did actually. Yeah, so we started a WhatsApp group actually. So we're willing to just trial stuff, and we met some new people that actually had been affected by cancer in their WhatsApp group. So that was great. And actually, we're going to invite them now to our first real life get together. So that's been great to connect with them actually. And there's been some people that knew each other. So, and actually we had people across the world take part in that. So we had people in Australia, America, I think Paris. So loads of people from like around the world did it too. So that was pretty special.
And they're all wearing your t-shirts now.
Yes, now they're branded up. So we make sure a branded t-shirt too as a thank you.
But that's I was as well. I think if you can kind of gift back, just to kind of, because I think it just builds it builds your inventory, because you wear the t-shirt, you go to the gym, and somebody goes, "Who's we get it?" And let me explain. Oh, they sound amazing, and it's just pushes it out. You know, it is the classic tote bags and badges, and we had pin badges from the beginning. And my son still wears his Current Mood sweatshirt. I was running it through the wash the other day. He wears it to pieces. So yeah, I mean, he's a 20-year-old lad, and he's kind of happy kind of wearing it, and his mates must see it. So it just pushes the sort of the perimeter of the brand even further out there, and people get to know it and recognize it. I think there's something like 12 points of contact before you make a decision about a brand. So yeah. Badge, tote bag, video, read a story online, see a bit of social media, attend an event, and it just, then you're in it, and you start to relate to it more and more, and then you embrace it. And then when fundraising opportunities come along, you either take the initiative and be proactive and go and do a run yourself, or you join something that's been physically set up by the charity itself.
I've not seen the Current Mood t-shirts, but there was obviously a lot of thinking. I'm there looking at the badge that's on my screen. So we've got a little arrow that's pointing up to one in the middle. I can't see it. Once you're feeling sunny.
That's a sun and a cloud. You've got a rainy cloud, a cup of coffee, a part sunny cloudy day, a heart and a sunshine. So yeah, that's in fact the design that's on the front of the t-shirt. So.
Yeah, and we get a lot of feedback on that, actually, that people love the kind of badges and that kind of image as well. They love it. So yeah, but also beanies.
Which way are you swinging today? Because it's a bit like that, isn't it?
Yeah. Don't tickle my schoolboy sense of humour.
Oh, brilliant. So from this, you've obviously made the most amazing friendship, which I guess when you were starting out on this journey, Laura, and you went, I've got an idea, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen here, I might start something, and we might have a group of people getting together, chatting in the Boston Tea Party in Bath. Did you expect it to build as it has and make the amazing friendships that you've made?
Oh God, no. On that day, I was kind of, first of all, I didn't expect to win that pitch, but I didn't realize the brand, the charity, the people that we would have met, that it would have been taken off like this. It's just more than I would have dreamt of, actually, and I am grateful. But I think we've got even bigger plans still. We're not finished though yet, and so there's so much more to do for us. Like Robin said, you know, we want to take over the world, but no, what we want to do is make sure we've got a place here in Bath. Now, I'm going to do a big shout out for Penny Brom. If you've been affected by cancer, or you know someone affected by cancer, they need to check out Penny Brom and their site in Pill in Bristol. And that's the thing that we'd love to bring to Bath. Bath is meant to be this therapeutic place with the water, but actually, is there a tranquil place for cancer patients when they've just finished treatment? They've just rolled out of the RUH. Can they go to a non-medical, chill out, cool, funky place and actually go and listen to some music, do some meditation, eat some good food, meet other people that have been affected by cancer, go for a walk? And that's what our big vision, our dream is to have a cancer centre, a We Get It cancer centre here in Bath for people affected by cancer. So that's the biggest dream. And like I said, what we've created, I never knew it was going to go like this big and this just incredible, but we've got so much more that we want to do as well with We Get It.
That's amazing. It'll be so exciting to have that facility, because we are really lacking in anything close to that, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's actually kind of a hospital environment. You come out and you are pretty much on your own. Yeah. And we really do need something. So have you got your little vision of where you would like it to be? And
I have got a vision. Yeah, I have got a vision, and and I know it will happen one day. It's just, for us, it's making sure that, we do the things that the most important, and that's build our community back up after COVID. So that's our next step, is to make sure we reconnect, rebuild, and see our community. So that's what we're excited about next.
But if anyone's out there in the community and would like to donate some money to make this project work,
you do the words out of my mouth. Here is the platform, Laura, where you can say, I work with another charity, Cerebral Palsy Cymru, and their fridge died, and they just put out, we need a new fridge. And I thought, do you know what? Good on you. It's like, just say it. If you need help, just say it, because that's what we're kind of all about as a community as well. If you need help, come and ask us, and we'll try and help you. So yeah, we would need 100 grand, 120 grand, whatever it is. If somebody's got a premises somewhere that they think is befitting of the brand of We Get It, then yeah, get in touch, because this is only going to get built even stronger with the help of others. And sometimes you do need that big kind of funding injection to kind of go, let's move you to that next, put you into fourth gear, third gear, wherever we can go.
Let's make it happen. It really, it could be just one donor, or it could be a number of donors that come together and go, actually, this will make a difference. And with that 1 in 2 stat, we all know that it's so needed.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Massively. We'll watch this space, guys, because it will happen one day. So yeah.
So when is your first event happening in person?
I know, it's happening on the Friday, the 24th of September, at 10:30 to 12 at Holborn Museum in the cafe at the back. And everyone is welcome, whether you've just been diagnosed with cancer, you're living with cancer, or you're living beyond cancer, or you're actually supporting someone affected by cancer. Please come along. We have an amazing group there. Some regulars that have been with us from the start, some new people are joining us. And also our amazing volunteers will be there. So there'll be free cake, free coffee, free tea, free juice, whatever you want. We will support you, we'll provide you. And I guarantee you will meet people that get it. And
it's totally COVID safe as well, isn't it, Laura? It's outside.
That's why we chose. We usually go to Walcott, the Walcott Cafe, which we absolutely love. But our community said they didn't feel quite comfortable being inside. So we had to look at a venue that had inside and outside seating. So which do? Yeah.
Oh, I've just got a comment saying, thank you, love the branding. Thanks for sharing your story.
Oh, thanks, Gemma. Thank you.
There's lots of ways that you could go with the We Get It brand, from lots of other things that people suffer from throughout life. And it makes you think, but maybe for fertility, or actually that voice, there are not enough community groups that gel people together.
Yeah.
And that's what it's done. It's made it really powerful.
Oh yeah, completely. Yeah, completely. And like I said before, really, I think for us is that we're not scared to try stuff, but also the community really do help each other and actually are amazing support for each other, and actually just sharing your story. And I know Robin and I are really key on this, but if you shared your story and it helped one person, then you've made a difference. And that sometimes, even within our cancer community, people want to share and they want to be listened and they want to be heard. And sometimes around their family and friends, they don't want to upset them or hurt them. But with us, and We Get It, go ahead. We talk about anything and everything. Sometimes we talk about paddleboarding, we talk about wine, sometimes we talk about cancer. The conversations are so varied, So yeah, but it's about the community, isn't it? And it's about being there for each other in so many different ways. And that's what makes it, I think, our brand as well, is our community.
Well, human beings just seek connections, don't they? It's like if you walk up to somebody at a party, you naturally sway to somebody that you think you may have a connection with. And as soon as they say, oh, I was on the phone with somebody earlier and I caught she had a Scottish accent. And I said, oh, guessing from your accent, you either live or you were brought up in Scotland. Where was that? And then you find it was like, 2 miles down the road, and it's kind of like, and you just love all that sort of how small life is, even though it's such a big world. You can go all the way to kind of the other side of the world and be in Sydney airport and you bump into somebody that you went to uni with. It's like, how does that all happen? And we just love telling those stories as well, that I met somebody that knows this or knows that. So I think that's why We Get It works so well, because it is people that are seeking connection, and at a very vulnerable time as well, at a time that's incredibly hard, and there's no going back from that. You just you can't comprehend how difficult it can be.
But also I think some of our community have been diagnosed, they've gone through treatment, and they might be in remission or living beyond cancer. But actually sometimes it's quite refreshing for people that have just been diagnosed with the same cancer to see that, or to understand that, or to hear that. And I think that's the kind of connections actually which can happen, and actually friendships. There's been a lot of friendships in the cancer community, and there still are. They are friends. Not only are they affected by cancer, but they're friends too, which is also really nice.
And Robin, in terms of where the brand has gone and how things have really grown since you met Laura, And how would you like to see the brand develop now, other than world domination?
I do think is that if there was the opportunity to have a physical kind of location, I think it would be a lovely opportunity, and to have more funding as well, so that then you can secure certain members of staff who are running the brand 24/7. It's got a physical location that's got doors. So for me, the beauty for me is for a brand to be able to create a brand in all directions. So through video and animation and physical events and signposting and environment and interiors and all of that. So the more it pushes my creative ability, the more I get out of it, because I know then that it's connecting with more and more people. You're inviting more and more people in. If we had a venue that could host 100 people to come to an event, and we can throw that for free, how wonderful would that be? And then, as you said, to then take that around the country, it doesn't then need to just be the location here. I mean, looking at Maggie's, they're located next to sort of key hospitals in major cities, but they're not in every city. And I love Maggie's. We had Kendra, who joined us from the very beginning of our journey, and Kendra Futcher, who put together their brand narrative. I met her through the Glove Factory, through one of their Rooster Talks, and invited her to join the team for We Get It. And she helped us at the very beginning just to kind of align some of our kind of story. So Maggie's kind of is everywhere, but we were concerned that, without being disrespectful, they're quite Waitrose in terms of kind of look and feel, and we're not Waitrose. I don't think we really align with it. We're not a Lidl, we're not an Asda, we're not a Tesco, we're not a Sainsbury's. We're kind of a bit of a kind of like a free independent market, I guess. We can kind of do what we want and kind of tailor it, and we do get affected by the weather and all of that, and we did get affected by COVID. We couldn't open our doors, so neither could they. So we're a free independent market. That's quite a nice one.
and I love the fact, actually, that all of the characters that make up the team are actually characters. They're very real and vocal, and they'll say it as it is, which is great, and it is what you want, but We Get It, isn't it?
Oh god, yeah, we've got some big personalities, and they bring a lot to We Get It. Yeah, there's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of talking. Yeah. Definitely. But it wouldn't be the same without them. We've got an incredible team, very much.
We need you to follow We Get It Together, isn't it? That's what you use on the social feeds. So We Get It Together, check out Instagram. And then have people like Sarah got their own feeds for Twitter and things like that?
So we've got a Twitter feed. So we've got it, We Get It Together is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then we've got our website, which is www.wegetit.org.uk. And if you'd like to be on the mailing list, just please give us an email and we'll sign you up. And then you can get updated on all our latest kind of workshops and events as well that are coming up real soon.
Brilliant. So what we want you to do is go out and talk to anybody you know that's affected by cancer and lives anywhere really in England, not just Bath and surrounds, and needs some support and to meet some new people going through the same thing. So I think we can all do that and bring some new people to the table. And if you know anybody who's got some money to put into the pot to make this amazing therapeutic centre happen in Bath, then game on.
Thank you, guys. Absolutely.
Oh, well, I really appreciate your time this evening. It's been great to hear your story. And Laura, it's amazing the strength that you had at a time when you were really going through it. You were like, right, I'm going to help other people. I'm going to do this. I'm going to use this experience as a positive thing and turn my life around. That I bet you never expected when you first got your diagnosis that you would be doing all these amazing things now.
No, I never did it, but I did get strength from what we were doing actually, and I enjoyed meeting people and connecting and building the brand actually, and building the community, and I got so much from it, and I still do actually today. Still get so much from it. But yeah, it's look, actually, Anita, looking back, reflecting on it, I'm still kind of in a whirlwind. I'm so blown away by what we've created in such a small amount of time, and how much we've got to do as well. So yeah, I'm pretty, I'm very proud, very proud.
Well,
Should be. Oh, well, one day we will be in a room and having a glass of wine and talking about this with other people as well. When we host another charity conference, hopefully we won't be in a pandemic world so much, that we can get lots of people that are slightly more vulnerable in a room together, or working with vulnerable people. That's why we've hosted the conference online this week. But yeah, we want to go back to 500 people at Bath Racecourse or somewhere similar, that's for sure. There's nothing like actually having everybody in a room. But it's lovely seeing the comments and everyone really appreciating you sharing your story, Laura and Robin, this evening. So thank you. Is it wine time again, Robin? Are we going to go find some wine now?
Yeah, I was good last night, actually. I didn't have mine until a little bit later, but yeah, there's a little bit left in the bottom of the bottle. I was just going to say, if anybody's got any brief questions, then do fire them over. But also, as I said last night as well, I've got a little very simple PDF that I can fire out to anybody they want to get in touch. It's hello@rednine.co.uk. And my story of putting together Laura's case study is also on my website. But I also offer a free hour if anybody just wants to sit over a cup of coffee. I think I've demonstrated tonight and last night, if you want me to talk brand, I can talk it for days. So yeah, happy to do that over a coffee. It's free, and you get an hour of chit chat about any sort of concerns that you've got with your brand, and we can kind of see, and we can kind of resolve something that's generally a very simple solution. It will never be easy, but it will be simple. I promise that.
Brilliant. Well, Laura's ready to go out. She's got her killer heels out, and we know exciting things happen when they're out. So yeah, we'll have a good evening, and yeah, please do connect with Robin and Laura, and see you for day 5 of the conference tomorrow.
Good luck, Anita. I hope the last day is wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anita, for an amazing conference as well, and for letting us be part of this. So thank you. You're doing an incredible job.
Well, my pleasure. Well, you take care. Have a good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. Bye-bye.